Hi Kim, I'm happy to do another reading for you at your request. So you had mentioned that you've had a lot of changes happening for you in the last little while. I'm really sorry to hear about your grandfather. I'm sure he's still with you in spirit. I imagine that you guys were probably fairly close. So today we're going to use the Linestrider deck. I feel like it's going to give us the best amount of information for your inquiry as to what messages you're looking to have sort of coming through for you. So we're going to try a new spread today, something I haven't done before, but I feel like it would be a good indicator of what's happening. So it's called an insight spread, and essentially what it's going to do is it's going to talk about the situations and energies that are presently occupying you and your space, your mind, your body, that sort of stuff. It's going to talk about challenges and obstacles that you're facing right now. It's going to talk about past influences and lessons that have not yet been learned, or reoccurring themes that are kind of popping up over and over and over again for you. We're going to talk about the probable outcomes, or if there's any continued obstacles, and the supportive energies that are happening for you right now. We're also going to discuss where this information can bring you as far as your future self and characteristics of yourself that you can utilize and that will show up for you as things move on. There are two optional cards at the end that I think we're going to do just for the sake of doing them. So one card is about the shadow card. So what that card is sort of those, for lack of a better term, those negative energies that are influencing what's going on for you right now. And then the final card that we'll discuss will talk about your hopes, your dreams, and any possible fears that may still be happening for you. So, all right, so we're gonna get started. So it's a big spread, so I'm hoping that everything fits on my camera. So the first thing we need to do is find a significator card for you. So what I would like to do with that is I have a different deck that I'd like to use as your significator. So I'm going to pull something from this deck, and we're just going to kind of get a quick idea. I don't like to take significators out of the deck because then I feel like we actually lose the... So I'm just going to refocus here. It doesn't seem to be focusing very well. There we go. Then we lose that card out of the deck, and if that card needs to come up for something, then it can't because it's already been taken by something else. So I'm going to pull a card out of this deck, and we're just going to take a minute. I've got a rose quartz here to signify that those relationships and those loves that are happening in your life right now, and the love and the relationships that have passed through recently. So we're going to see what she has to say for us. And we'll pull a significator card and we'll see what that's going to turn out to be. Home. I love that. Okay. So the significator is going to be home. So that actually totally makes sense to me as far as where you're at right now. You know, you've switched locations physically from your place to your new place, which, side note, I would love to hear about when you have a chance. And then also home can be family. So with your grandfather and your other past relatives, then all of that really can bring home. So I love this card. We're going to definitely, we're going to enjoy working with this one. So, all right, so we're going to place, the first card goes here, and then here, and then we've got 3 card, 4 card, 5 goes here, 6 and 7 go over here, 8, 9, and 10. So super, that all shows up on the camera, so that's great. I'm just going to wiggle you a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I think I'm just going to pull that one up a little bit so we can see it. Okay, so the first card, which is, we'll move this one out of the way just for a minute. So this first card is about the situation or the energy that's presently occupying you and what's happening. So that's the Queen of Cups. Funny, not at all a surprise. And although you know how I feel about tarot, none of it's really a surprise for us. So the Queen of Cups is all about that positive, matriarchal, feminine energies regarding those control of those emotions and just really having that full understanding of the feelings that you're having and the emotions that are going on for you, and just being able to really adapt and settle in with those really well. So I like that she's coming up with sort of the energy that's presently around you. So there's a lot of love, and they're coming from a lot of matriarchal figures in your life right now. So mums, grandmothers, friends, that sort of thing. So I love that what's happening is you, even though you're not feeling very supported from what I'm sounding like, there's a ton of support around you. You just might not be able to feel it right now. So one of the challenges or obstacles that you're facing right now is the Fool card. So the Fool is about those new situations. So when we look at the Fool, we're looking at that sort of that blind leap of faith. So moving to a new place, having to live a life without a loved one in it anymore, which can be really challenging, as we're both fully aware. So I like that the Fool is your obstacle right now, because you are taking on this whole new path in your life. You've had some significant changes, so that's definitely a good challenge for you, for your situation, as I understand it, that these new events and these new things that are happening for you are sort of out of your comfort zone. So perfect, that's a good card. So these two are actually read together. So these ones are about your past influences that still have a hold on you. So we have two cards here, and two very strong cards. You got three majors already. So the Tower is all about that major dynamic shift in your life. And again, recently you've had two. You've moved and you've had a passing of a family member. So the Tower is really about that strong, great change, something that really flips your life upside down. It's really quite an intense card, but it's balanced really nicely with the Wheel. And I really love that these two are together for you, because these past influences that are still affecting you is this trauma and this chaos that happened from these big changes that are happening for you. But in the same breath, it's all still part of the cycle of life, and the wheel will continue to turn. And although it's difficult to deal with this one particular event, or these multiple little events that are happening, or big events that are happening for you right now, it's good to know that it's part of the cycle. Everything continues, and it still shifts and so and so. So really nice. I like that these two are paired together. That really gives it softens up the intensity of the Tower card and what that means for you. So the next card here tends to be about the lessons that haven't yet been learned, things like skeletons in the closet, reoccurring themes that kind of go over and over and over in your life, and the spiritual influences that has on you. So this is the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles is really about choice A or choice B. Which one are you going to pick? It's the ultimate card of choice. So you have two things that are happening right now, and you have to decide which one of those you want to put those energies into. And it's also been playing on you for some time. This is something that I think that has probably been revolving in your life for probably quite some time. And it's a matter of having to make that choice and maybe step outside of the comfort space that you're in order to take that choice to the next step. So that's kind of what's been playing for you right now, is maybe you're not making that choice. Maybe you've been putting something off that you really need to focus on. So now's a good time to focus on whatever that may have been, where you are uncomfortable with whatever choice that you just didn't really want to make yet. So these two cards here are also read together, and these are the most probable outcomes, and it can indicate continued obstacles or the supportive energies that are happening. And right now I'm really seeing those supportive energies. So you've got the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is all about those passions and those desires and those things that you really want to do with your life, and you know, those hopes and those dreams. And the King is all about having accomplished those things and having used the assertiveness and the strength and tenacity that is known in tarot for the King. So it's really good that, you know, so what's going to be happening in the future is those things for you are really going to come to fruition, and you're really going to find that balance between what you love to be doing and what you want to be doing. And paired up here with the Three of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles is really about developing those new skills and really starting to show the world what you can actually do. So I love that these are paired together, because you've got that fulfillment of the things that you want to do, and the ability where you're at now to take what you have and start to show the world your gifts and your abilities that you can do, and it's gonna end up going really well for you. So I really like that. So this one is about your future self. sorry, this one. This one is about your future self. This one's going to tell us sort of what characteristics are going to start to play into your patterns as you move forward with what's happening here. And here we've got the Two of Wands. So we've got some little cards happening here, you know, a couple of twos and a three, but then we've got some really big cards as well. So I like the balance that's happening. The Two of Wands is really about breaking through. It's about, you know, you've got this choice that's been plaguing you for some time now, but this one is really about you've made that choice and you're able to walk through that doorway now, and you're able to move forward into the next phase of what's going to happen. So it comes up as a great card. So essentially it's that strength and that focus and that ability to know which door essentially you want to choose and actually walk through it. So that's really nice as far as that goes. So as far as the shadow card, now the shadow is a glimpse into the dark side of you. We all have a light and dark, and some of us have a good balance and some of us don't have a good balance. So that's up to you to know where you're at as far as that balance goes. But for your shadow side, what it wants you to really focus on is another two. You've got 3 twos here. There's so many decisions that are in the works for you, and there's so much change and shifting happening. So that Two of Swords is very much about deciding. It's a decision card. So here you have that action of making that choice, or sorry, not the action of it. You've got that that grounding, that sense of, okay, so here are the 2 choices. They've been plaguing you for a while now. They haven't quite fulfilled. You haven't been able to quite fulfill this choice yet. Over here in the future, you have fulfilled it. You've made that choice and you've moved on with that. This Two of Swords is a really excellent card. It can be a couple of different things. It could be a communication that you really need to communicate with somebody else, although I'm not really seeing any other somebodies showing up for me. So maybe this is about self-reflection for you. So that shadow side, sort of the dark side of things, maybe you're just either you're focusing too much on what's happening inside your mind and not so much following your heart, or you could be having a communication gap somewhere along the line with yourself or with someone else. I suspect it's more with yourself than anybody else. So as far as hopes and dreams, and possible fears here, we've got Temperance. So ideal, I mean, spectacular. The Temperance is really all about that perfect balance. So those hopes and dreams that you're feeling and that you're wanting to see move forward. You can hear Piper sleeping. She's having a dream, sorry. Is finding that ultimate balance and that fluidity within yourself. So just sort of as an overall, again, I'm just going to spread these out so that you can actually see these cards, because they're so lovely that I want to make sure that you can actually see everything when you listen to this or watch this video back. So the Significator is the home card for you, and again, it's about finding that center and finding where your home is again. And you know, home is where the heart is, or so they say. And I think right now for you, that's sort of up in the air. You know, you've just moved, you've lost a family member, and it was a significant one. My understanding is that's sort of the last of your grandparents that were with you. So looking for that home and just trying to find that stability again. You know, you're surrounded by some powerful women that have a lot of love for you, both in this life and in the next. So you've got a lot of support happening for you right now, but you're still sort of in this transition phase where, you know, you almost lost your path a little bit, and you just have to kind of work your way back into finding that path. So, and then down here, you know, some of the things that have influenced up to this point is there's been some chaos and some trauma for you, but it's a good reminder that, you know, as hard as these events are, it's all part of the cycle, and and if you work within that cycle, then things will eventually settle and things will move on, and you'll have that positive negative balance again, you know. So, and then here, you know, things that seems to hold you back a little bit is not being able to make that choice, or to recognize that there's two options that you have, or possibly more than 2 options that you have, that you just have to make a decision, and it's kind of holding you back a little bit right now. So I really want to see you kind of come up from that and be able to make those decisions, because it's going to go well for you. You know, you've got a lot of power and a lot of creativity and a lot of passion for the things that you want to do in life, and you've got the skills. So take those now. It's time to go out into the world with the things that are you, that you want to share with everybody. It's going to go well. It's going to go really well, you know. And then as things move on, you're going to be able to actually walk through that door and clear up what's holding you back, or what has been holding you back up to this time, and make that choice and go through that door and try that new project, or try that new therapy, or try that new job, or whatever it is that you're going for up in here. Once you actually take the step and you move forward with that, it's going to go well for you. You know, things are going to start to settle down. You're going to eventually come into that balance. You know, that shadow side, those choices, they're kind of scary. It's difficult to choose something, because although you're choosing something and you're excited about that thing that you've chosen, you have this thing over here that you've decided to let go of. So that can be really hard. You know, some choices are not as easy as chocolate or ice cream, or chocolate or vanilla ice cream. Some choices are, you know, do I stay in this relationship or do I leave it? You know, so some of them are really, really challenging. So that shadow side, that darker side of you right now is struggling to determine which of these choices that you really want to make, but make it, you know, and once you do, own it. Make sure that it's your solid choice, but don't spend so long on it that it just becomes kind of an ether and creates more of this sort of background issues. You know, once that choice is made and you're able to move forward, you're going to find that balance and that peace and that centering that you're really, really looking for. So I hope this gives you some insight. If you have any questions, as always, please don't hesitate to give me a shout. I'll clarify anything. If you need an extra card to understand any of the cards that have been spread, by all means, we can certainly do that too. So I hope you get a little information out of this. If it doesn't resonate with you at all, then we can change decks and see if we get a different response. But for the most part, overall, things are moving in a positive light, but you really need to take the time to decide and make the choice that's been plaguing you. And again, once you do, it's going to turn out, whatever you decide to do will turn out okay, because that's the choice that was made for you by you. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. I love you. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad to hear from you. And again, let me know if you have any questions. Bye.